Regional governors in Cameroon begin presentations on the state of the regions at their first biannual conference that opened in Yaoundé today. Public corporations in Cameroon plagued by a performance crisis as corruption and approximative managerial styles are triggering a nosedive in output and profitability. And the Secretary General of the Confederation of African Football dismisses as false social media allegations that the Confederation of African Football was to withdraw the hosting of the 2021 AFCON from Cameroon. Those are our lead stories. Hello and thanks for joining us. I am Ben Menopufon and this is the 7:30 News.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
You're welcome once again. The first biannual conference of regional governors of Cameroon is underway in Yaoundé with a call for them to wage a vigorous war against criminality and give Cameroonians a reason to sleep with both eyes closed. Speaking as he opened the two-day deliberations in Yaoundé, Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji invited the defense and security forces to step up vigilance and make of the protection of people and property a permanent pursuit. Deliberations that wind up tomorrow are running under the theme Decentralization and Public Order. Ebenezer Akanga reports.
Making an assessment of the security situation of the country within the last 6 months, the Minister of Territorial Administration said that it was globally under control, though there were some challenges, notably the persistence of armed banditry and cyber criminality. While commending the job done by administrative authorities as well as defense and security forces in protecting people and their properties, Paul Atanganji instructed the governors to wage a vigorous fight against criminality as Cameroon prepares to host the Africa Cup of Nations competition.
You and your collaborators, as well as the forces of law and order, must do everything possible to maintain public order as well as protecting persons and their property. It is also important to supervise the proper execution of public contracts and report cases of abandoned public investment projects without justification.
The security situation in the northwest, southwest, east and far north regions will come under thorough scrutiny during the conference. The opening ceremony of the conference was attended by the Delegate General for National Security and the Secretary of State in the Ministry of Defense in charge of the National Gendarmerie, who presented exposés to the governors.
And the Governors' Conference is holding at a time when some regions in the country are locked up in a wave of socio-political turmoil and biting economic difficulties. Constantine Baum spoke to the governors of the Northwest and Southwest regions, as well as their counterparts of the East, Littoral and Far North regions, on the state of their regions 6 months into the new year, and pieced together the following story.
The main challenge of the East region is insecurity that mainly comes from neighboring countries.
Problems in the border areas in Central African Republic. Now the situation is calm. The economy is booming.
For the past 6 months, the Far North region has not experienced any major security threat.
Nowadays, we have no more suicide bomb. The Nigerian refugees are going back to their areas, and our IDPs also carry out their daily basis.
The northwest and southwest regions are gradually bouncing back economically.
The situation of the southwest region is under control, despite some misguided compatriots who are still moving around with guns, kidnapping, killings. The state administration is present in all the division, all the subdivisions, and technical services are functioning. We realize more than 50% of the investment budget, meaning that thanks to the improvement of the security situation, the economic activities are resuming in the northern region. We are still facing some major challenges. The road problems. It is very difficult to reach Bamenda because of the poor state of the road between Babajo and Bamenda.
The high crime wave recorded in the economic capital of Cameroon has been brought under control.
We have some issues as far as insecurity is concerned. Globally, the situation is under control.
The overall challenge of all the 10 regional governors is how they will monitor and assist in the decentralization process, reason why the theme of their biennial conference is decentralization and public order.
On to something else now. The management of the Council Support Fund for Mutual Assistance, FCA, has opened a chain of week-long consultations with the regional council presidents and their peers of the regional assemblies on the role of FCA in the development agenda of regional councils. The Director General of FCA, Philippe Kamer, Akoa, exchanged today with the regional executives of the Littoral and the South regions. BrigadeAntiSardinard puts that initiative in context.
The 2018 text reorganizing the Council Support Fund for Mutual Assistance for Kmer enables the public administrative establishment to accompany territorial decentralized entities in development. The Director General of Kmer wants the regional executives to be abreast of that role.
Explain to the presidents of the regional council how the FCA is functioning and what we can bring to them as funding and also technical advice.
The series of meetings that started Monday, June 14, with representatives from the titular and competent ministries received 2 regional delegations each day. This comes at the right time, at the time we have just voted our budget. We were not only edified, but even assured. He presented to us the plan of the regional council hotels. After the Littoral and South regional executives Monday, the presidents of the Northwest and Southwest regional assemblies are announced for Tuesday.
Public corporations in Cameroon are currently hit by a crisis of performance and profitability. And this, according to an IMF audit carried out in February this year. The audit further indicates that most of these corporations are trailing a huge debt burden, which is dealing a negative impact on the overall state budget. Joyce Kimbi-Fowaju now explores the managerial weaknesses of state-owned enterprises, which she says are now a bane rather than a boon to the country's economic growth.
Over 100 state-owned enterprises operate in Cameroon in varied sectors such as universities, health, energy, water, transportation, agriculture, telecommunications, amongst others. But the recent IMF report x-rays weaknesses in its operationality. The study sees a low productivity, distorted competition and corruption-prone management as lapses. The flaws also include performance and management concerns, overall low profitability, and a lack of a global vision of financial flows within Cameroon state-owned enterprises. These weaknesses are being reported to have a negative toll on the state budget, and the negativity is being justified by the fact that there is no precise quantitative assessment of the contributions of these state-owned enterprises on the state budget. It also indicates that there is an accrued debt burden of over 15% of the gross domestic product inflicted on the country's budget by the public enterprises. The IMF report further indicates that these state-owned enterprises could present a major fiscal risk in Cameroon. But all said, these weaknesses and negative impacts on the country's state budget notwithstanding, state-owned enterprises in Cameroon could still constitute an important vehicle of the country's socio-economic development.
And it is on the basis of what Joyce Lepti was saying that experts are recommending that for public corporations to play their role in revenue mobilization, they must work on their governance mechanisms and risk assessment techniques. And as Clarice Array Takang reports, these corporations will remain liabilities so long as the state does not step in with her gendarme role to call them to order.
Efficacy and ensuring the attainment of budgetary objectives, two parts which cross and which the state is expecting public enterprises to tread on without restraint. The good governance criteria is one to rely on if these entities have to contribute their quota to growth and sustained revenue mobilization. Opinions tie, the context demands it.
Many enterprises do not follow good governance rules, which is bad. If this process does not change, we will have the same results, especially if the same context prevails. It may get worse. There is need for changes in work methods, and technology has a lead because times are changing. Good governance is key.
Well-defined goals and skilled labor to make them happen, frequent evaluation of staff and management, improved reporting on operations and follow-up mechanisms, internal and external auditing to assess budgetary risks are equally areas to work on. Added to these are accountability, a healthy financial relationship, and measures to reinforce the authority of the state.
There must be resources for the state to benefit because without this, it will be a difficult situation to handle. Wealth creation comes with demands which must be met.
New game changers have been introduced in order to stimulate socio-economic gains. Strong moves are thus recommended to ensure that rather than being liabilities, public enterprises become assets to the state's development agenda.
Traditional rulers from the Fakot division of the Southwest region have been expressing gratitude to the government for reorganizing the Limbe Autonomous Port, saying it is a project that will open countless opportunities for the people of the Fakot division. The chiefs were speaking in Yaoundé today after an audience with Prime Minister Joseph Diangute at the Star Building. From the Prime Minister's office, Christian Chiatam reports.
The delegation was composed of 12 traditional rulers, all from Fakot division. They came, first of all, to channel their gratitude to President Paul Biya for reorganizing the Limbe Autonomous Port in May 2020. They say by that act, the President of the Republic has demonstrated that he holds the well-being of Fakot division and the Southwest in general at heart.
We came here to thank the head of state for the creation of the Limbe Deep Sea Port. And we brought other messages to put across through the Prime Minister to the head of state.
The traditional rulers from Fakot division say they firmly believe in President Paul Biya's commitment to setting up the Limbe Deep Sea Port. They describe it as a game changer in the economy of the division and that of the country as a whole.
Since the creation of this Deep Sea Port, there's need for it to go operational. And we think that it would help us go a long way to reduce the strength and forces of the crisis. So it will help to rebuild the confidence of the people.
We are so grateful that we are here to thank the head of state for promulgating that the Limbe Deep Sea Port should go operational after the national dialogue. And what we are saying is that we are waiting in anticipation of this event.
Prime Minister Joseph Diangute reassured the traditional rulers that the head of state remains committed to the Limbe Deep Sea Port project.
Cameroonian MPs have recommended the creation of a guarantee fund for small and medium-sized enterprises and the introduction of entrepreneurial studies in the school curricula. This is what emerged from a forum on efficient financing of private enterprises that held in Yaoundé today under the aegis of the Network on Entrepreneur Promotion of the National Assembly. Esther Kmer reports.
The constraints to financing private enterprises are wide-ranging, from poor loan access to judicial lapses in investment security and inadequate tutoring on business models and plans. The Deputy Speaker, Honorable Kombogberi, agrees with the lawmakers that the redesigning is key.
It is good for the state to put everything in place to make sure that startup enterprises should be pre-financed to make sure that our banks and the entrepreneurs, there should be a liaison. So would there be job creation and it will be a multiplier effect for the states.
This for the network's president, Honorable Roger Melingui, will check youth unemployment and forward social cohesion. As a remedy, the creation of a guarantee fund and the legalization of voluntary group savings are actions undertaken by Minister Achille Bazilican III. Innovative approaches such as crowdfunding and business angels providing mentoring, Post and Telecommunications Minister Minette Libom Lilikeng opines as success routes for startups. For the United Councils and Cities of Cameroon working with communities and the Minister of Mines, Gabriel Dodondoke, it is critical that a national strategy for entrepreneurship development is elaborated.
Cameroon's Minister of External Relations today summoned the Belgian ambassador to Cameroon to his cabinet for questioning and explanation for the attack on Cameroon's embassy in Brussels by a group of hooligans. The Belgian diplomat told Minister Mbela that the incident was not as a result of security defiance on the part of the Belgian government, while assuring that investigations will be carried out to establish responsibilities. Details with Charles Ebune.
10 a.m. Belgian time today, 9 a.m. Cameroonian time, some individuals with the cloak of consular service clients stormed the Cameroonian embassy in Brussels.
But I came immediately because indeed I had been informed that there was an incident at the diplomatic representation of Cameroon in Brussels.
Enough reasons for the Belgian ambassador to Cameroon to be summoned by the Minister of External Relations.
There has been a breach. In fact, some individuals went into your embassy to claim some political motivations, and they were in fact using political motivation and hiding of another consular purpose.
The acts of vandalism inside the Cameroonian embassy in Belgium are based on the arrest of an individual who used foul language against the head of state a few days ago back home.
This is something that we have to look into, and that's what I promised also the minister, that we have to report that to our authorities.
The Minister of External Relations also granted audience, a farewell audience, to the outgoing chargé d'affaires of the United States Embassy to Cameroon.
I leave Cameroon with great sadness in the next couple of days. I've spent 3 years here in Cameroon, and it's a country that I love very much, and I love the spirit of Cameroonians.
A few days ago, the United States announced a sanitary package of 54 billion CFA francs to help Cameroon contain diseases such as HIV and AIDS.
And you're watching the 7:30 news on the Cameroon radio television, the CRTV. We are broadcasting live from Yaoundé. Security forces in Yaoundé have arrested 2 suspects alleged to be the perpetrators of last week's burglary at the Directorate General of Taxation here in Yaoundé. The 2 suspects were captured at the weekend by a joint investigation team of the police and the National Gendarmerie. Kilian Datendifon reports on the crime reconstitution as it was reenacted in Yaoundé today.
Akashinoa surprised Mfundi State Council, security forces and onlookers when with ease he scaled a tall fence in a crime reconstitution scene at the Directorate General of Taxation.
Entering into the window at the first floor of the building. The operation took place during 4 hours, from 1:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m.
A joint investigation team of the National Gendarmerie and the police fished out the prime suspect and his accomplices in 48 hours.
We put all our personnel outside to gather information related to this burglary. Fortunately for us, we was able to put hand on some of them, and during the exploitation, we had the new phone number of Chinois, and then it will say relatively easy for us to put hand on him through geolocalization, through the using of our data center.
The prime suspect and his accomplices are all ex-convicts and have admitted they belong to a network responsible for several recent burglaries in Douala and Yaoundé.
Today is World Blood Donor Day, a day on which citizens of the world come to terms with the need for the safe blood and blood products for transfusion and the critical contribution voluntary unpaid blood donors make to national health systems. The 2021 World Blood Donor Day slogan is "Give blood and keep the world beating." Beatrice Ngum now leads us into the small world of the blood donors as she met and talked with some of them in Yaoundé today.
450 milliliters of blood, enough to save a life. But more of such pints will save more lives. 37-year-old Narcisse Nananganku has understood the necessity. He's been donating blood for 4 years now and is not ready to give up anytime soon.
Giving my blood every 3 months if I can. We have information about the difficulties around the blood giving.
Several years back, the life of his niece was at stake, but thanks to other donors, she was saved. And that was the turning point.
My niece had a cancer and she was needing blood. So I looked for my cousin and everybody, and the association helped me find people to give her blood.
Today, he has joined a donor association. They donate their blood to save lives and inspire other families to do same.
You don't have to be afraid to do it. If you can save lives, please do so.
Narcisse says to ensure a steady supply of blood, he drinks enough water, eats foods rich in iron, and abstains from alcohol and other deviances. Patient safety, he adds, is at the center of all what he and other donors do.
Our talk of the week tonight, talk of the day rather, tonight talks on that wonders if it were not time for health passes to be instituted in Cameroon so as to speed up the ongoing immunization campaign against COVID-19 and the opening of stadia to the public. Cynthia Saptala, our lady on the beat, sampled views on the issue around Yaoundé today and compiled them in the following story.
The target was to get over 800,000 persons vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus by July 31st, with the campaign suffering from heavy misinformation leading to vaccine hesitancy. The question now posed by actors is if imposing a health pass may be a solution.
A health pass is before you enter a ceremony, you should show proof of their health security.
On the topic, health professionals say it is an ideal solution to guarantee the safety of the population eager to resume its activities, especially with the upcoming football competitions.
Presently, we are at 5% in terms of vaccination percentage, whereas WHO's goals targeted 10% by the end of 2021. How then do we attain this objective without utilizing all methods possible? That's why the health pass is a solution.
However, instituting a health pass will require presenting digital or physical documents that serve as proof and also harmonizing the system such that it is easy to verify.
We have so many different messages, so many antagonist messages that at the end one could not decide to say whether COVID itself is something dangerous enough.
We should know that in those countries where the solution has been decided to be put on, the rate of people immunized is very higher than what we have actually in Cameroon. The numeric system to put in place so that everywhere people can access and can have the code, let us say the passcode, to prove the situation of the pass, which is, we are far from that.
According to some actors, the focus now should be on sensitizing the public on the vaccine, providing a clear and unanimous message on its benefits. Many hold that providing Cameroonians with COVID-19 vaccine options and encouraging them to take the jab may be the better solution.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
The vaccination campaign against COVID-19 is continuing across the country, even as children do not constitute part of the target population. Gilbert Ongene is out at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center and now takes Dr. Eric Tandy to task as to why adolescents are exempted from the ongoing vaccination campaign. Hello, Gilbert.
Hello, Ben Menopufong, televiewers. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, where we are with our guest, Dr. Eric Tandy, a public health expert. Good evening, Doctor.
Yeah, good evening, Gilbert.
Now, how do we justify the fact that adolescents are not concerned with the ongoing vaccination against the COVID-19?
Yeah, Gilbert, you know, this is still a new something within our community, and research is still ongoing. And if those who made up the vaccine have proclaimed that adolescents are not able to consume this vaccine, we will have to respect this protocol and wait for further findings. So it's not only limited to adolescents, but including children, you know. Those are the evidence that have been proven scientifically, and they are still ongoing. I should say this is still an ongoing process, and once there is any modification on this, then it will be declared.
Does it mean that their immune system is stronger than that of adults or aged people?
We can't conclude on that certainly. That is why I didn't want to touch about immunity or any resistance that adolescents might have, but like I said, research is still ongoing, and for now we have to retain that they are not eligible to consume the vaccine.
You got it all from the expert. Adolescents and children are not concerned with the ongoing vaccination campaign against the COVID-19 pandemic, not necessarily because they have a stronger immune system, but for some reasons best known to health experts. Back to you, studio.
Thank you very much, Gilbert Ongene, for those updates. More than 300 commercial motorbike riders in the Central region have been drilled on the highway code and roadworthiness of vehicles. The drilling was done in 2 separate workshops in Yaoundé and Kamer, organized by Cameroon's cement production giant Simancam. Details with Irene Manti Ayonga from CRTV Center.
The crucial role bike riders in the Central region play in the movement of persons from one locality to the other cannot be taken for granted. Unfortunately, most of them do not either master the highway code or respect the basis of putting on safety helmets and identification jackets, as well as possess necessary circulation documents. It is against this backdrop that Simancam, which is a leading company specialized in the production of construction materials, organized these workshops to educate bike riders in the Central region on defensive motorcycling driving.
At Simancam, security is the priority number 1. For that, we decided to do some sensitization for the population around our factory. Yesterday, we were at Bankomo, and today, we end this sensitization with the motorbike of Yaoundé 3. The aim is that all the motorbikes that work around the factory and the population should do all the activity without any accident or any incident, because for us, it's a priority without any incident for the population and also for us.
Their target areas were Bankomo and Yaoundé 3 municipalities, in which some 100 working gadgets comprising safety helmets, identification jacket and number plates were distributed to the bike riders through their syndicates in the presence of mayors of both localities.
Through this seminar, I learned many things, how to work on the road. I go there many lessons that will help me to sensibilize the other bike riders.
I want to appreciate Simancam for the initiative in contributing for the good of the population in our municipalities.
The administration of both localities called on bike riders to make good use of the working gadgets put at their disposal by Simancam. We exhort you to use these working gadgets put at your disposal by Semencam for your safety and protection. Semencam has as mission to fulfill its fundamental values in health, safety, security, and excellence as part of its social responsibility service.
Camtel and CRTV, two leading structures in the country's communication sector, are bent on giving the best of broadcast signals before, during, and after AFCON 2021 and subsequent mega events. A meeting between their directors general, Judith Achidiachu and Charles Ndongo, has led to the establishment of measures to reinforce collaboration through the standing partnership. Mukwele Prince Wiladuma is here with details.
Cameroon's success in hosting AFCON 2021, as was the case in previous jamborees like the CHAN, is largely navigated through the quality of sound and images served both the national and international publics. Cameroon's telecommunications and the Cameroon radio television, the country's giants in the communication sector, expressed their readiness in this meeting between Judith Achidi, Director General of Camtel, and Charles Ndongo, boss of the CRTV. This through an evaluation of the partnership between the two structures, regularization of pending financial transactions, and then Camtel providing the optic fiber and internet connection, while CRTV's media coverage for transmission and broadcast that begins with the upcoming draws of AFCON 2021. Charles Ndongo and his delegation presented the way forward with the creation of a task force to ensure the technical implementation of measures agreed upon by the two structures to guarantee fluidity in collaboration, respect of terms, and expected success. The two directors general equally listened to inputs from their respective collaborators in this win-win partnership between Camtel and the CRTV.
And now on to sports. The Secretary General of the Confederation of African Football is currently sojourning in Cameroon within the framework of preparations for the 2021 AFCON that Cameroon will be hosting come January 2022. The CAF official held talks with Sports and Physical Education Minister Narcisse Moelle-Kombe, after which he rubbished social media allegations on the purported withdrawal of the hosting from Cameroon of the 2021 AFCON. Daniel Ekonde has the details.
It is a working mission to discuss with our stakeholders regarding the organization of AFCON that will be, as you know, will be played here in January next year. We discussed a lot of things. I didn't know he's so passionate in football and his country also, and I was very proud in your country what your country is doing. You are delivering here, and I'm really proud also and. Regarding all the facilities that have been built. It's not only the facility for Cameroon, it's the facilities for all Africa. You have to be proud of your country because this kind of facility is incredible for football. And we exchange also the way we are to continue to work together. As you know, it's a new CAF, new administration, and we discuss the way how to work together with the government one side, other side the Federation and CAF as well.
And that was CAF Secretary General talking there to our reporter, Daniel Ekonde. Still in sports, Cameroon's female handball team has been demonstrating a strong sense of teamwork and team spirit, fighting spirit, ever since the start of the ongoing 24th edition of the Senior Women Handball African Cup of Nations. Qualifying for the quarterfinals is proof of their resilience and commitment, thanks to the brilliant performances of Karishma Eko, Clarice Manjumfang, Jomu Vanessa, and Messi Sol. In the following report, Clarence Nge presents these players who continue to be a center of attraction to the many handball supporters.
They are amongst the handball lionesses whose outstanding defensive and offensive tactics has helped the squad advance. 23-year-old Karishma Eko, who is making her first outing with the Lionesses, continues to pull the attention of many handball diehards. The 1.7-meter-tall left-back plays with the French-based club ESBF. Jepmo Vanessa will be remembered for her first goal of the tournament in their opener with Kenya. The 1.49-meter-tall is famous for her offensive skills. Jacqueline Mosley Sole is a product of Dynamic Diary Bokito. The 35-year-old plays as the pivot. His imposing height is an advantage to the team. Offensive moves have been paying off. And Jodel Clarice Majufang, tactical skills and physical ability has been a major boost and a success to the handball squad. She plays with the Congolese-based handball club DGSP. However, as the handball Lionesses prepare to take on Nigeria Tuesday, June 15, 2021, at the quarterfinals, supporters of the game continue to look up to the outstanding names as they expect to see the team lift the trophy.
That's where we'll leave it for tonight. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, 7:30.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice